Well, how'd you like to get a job making like $50,000 to $90,000 a year with no college training at all? Actually, these are apprenticeship programs, and there's like 250 different apprenticeship programs all over the country, where you get paid to learn and you get good jobs, good benefits. I mean, this is like retirement benefits too. I mean, who ever heard of that anymore? Yep. And these kind of skills that we all still need in this country. People are going to colleges and get all this kind of student debt at a job that even won't pay for their debt. And here you could train for a job that pays good money. You get paid while you're learning. So really you're on the job and you take like 3 hours a week classes or instructions, as your apprentice, but you're getting a good full-time job while you're learning too. And then the salaries go up to like say $50,000, $80,000, $90,000, to do this. And it's everything from funeral directors, elevator installers and repairs, stonemasons, or iron workers. Now here's an interview of the fellow who runs the iron workers program for apprentices. And it's wonderful. He tells you how, like, you could even be 40, 50 years old, and still get into these programs. It doesn't matter how old you are for these things. You don't have to be a kid out of high school, but it's options, that you have in life, and good career options that people are not glorifying anymore, but they're legitimate. They're fun. You're doing real work, not this paper pushing in an office. Who knows what kind of sore backs you get from doing that. So that's why there's something to consider. And the ironworking guy, if you go to ironworkers.org, you'll see a listing there of, you could call your local union there, and they'll tell you about the apprenticeship program and how to get involved in that. Now, all the programs, that are apprenticeship programs around the country, a good place to find out is your Career One Stop. That's careeronestop.org. You go there, you find your local office and talk to them, and they'll tell you about locally what apprenticeship programs are available. Where you get paid while you're learning a career with a good salary, good benefits. I mean, that's right, benefits. See, most jobs don't have benefits anymore. So if you're looking for benefits, this is a great option to find out. So watch this interview and think about that as a career choice at any age. And no college debt. So watch. Okay, and your name?
Harvey Swift.
Harvey Swift. And where are we? Who are you with here?
I'm with the Ironworkers, and I'm specifically I'm assigned to our labor management department. It's called IMPACT. That stands for the Ironworker Management Progressive Action Cooperative Trust.
Wow, you belong in Washington with that.
Absolutely, and we are in Washington, D.C.
And so basically, what are you involved in training?
I am involved in training, the development of new training materials and curriculum. For
ironworkers.
For ironworkers,
right.
Yes.
And is it to help ironworkers progress in their career or start their careers or what?
Yes, it is. Actually, it is for both. To be started in their apprenticeship program, we develop the training curriculum and materials for the apprenticeship training. And we also develop career ladder training, like our foreman training and superintendent training, that emphasizes that ironworking is not just a job, it's not a construction job, it's a career path.
Now, what is an ironworker? I mean, to the layman out there, I know you've worked in ironworking, and he's Marine too.
An ironworker, and I'll try to put it as simply as I can, but cover all aspects of the trade, because ironworking is a very diverse trade. Ironworkers erect the structural steel in buildings. They also place and tie and handle and unload the reinforcing steel in concrete buildings.
Spaghetti stuff?
Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely. Ironworkers also install curtain wall and window wall systems on buildings.
What does that mean?
Basically the windows and glass facades of the buildings.
I see. So not the windows themselves, then?
Absolutely, the windows.
That's called iron, huh?
Yeah, it's part of ironworking.
I see.
Yes.
Why? Because it's dangerous? Or?
Because a lot of the skills are transferable skills.
I see.
We deal with cranes and heavy rigging, lots of welding, bolting applications. All of these skills are transferable. And ironworkers also do ornamental work as well.
Wow. Gates,
entryways, doorways, canopies. Lots of different things involved in ironworking.
Well, it sounds like, we talk about jobs going overseas, but looks like these jobs can't go overseas too well, either, can they?
I would think not. I would think that the actual boots on the ground, the
Right.
hands-on skills and trades that the ironworkers do, the things that they do for a living, I wouldn't think those could be exported.
How are you going to build a building in India if you have
Right.
it here? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it looks like a growth industry as long as this country keeps growing, right?
Yes.
And actually, if it doesn't keep growing, we really got to rebuild a lot of these buildings.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're really in a growth profession, it seems. One of the few that I've seen around nowadays.
One would hope, and
Yeah.
as long as the market can sustain growth, we'll be here.
But
ready
there's
to go.
no like IT, you could see it possibly going overseas. Healthcare, maybe not overseas. Maybe education, how are we going to go overseas with that? And putting up stuff doesn't sound like things we could, subcontract to India or Asia or something
Right.
like that, huh? So that's
I would hope not.
Yeah, right. You never know.
You never know.
Got to keep on our toes. Well, now if you're interested in being an iron worker, because I guess the pay is real good. I mean, for a skill like this.
It's a living, yes,
Yeah.
sir. Most places in the country, iron workers make a respectable living, and we have fringe benefits as well as just money on a check.
But it's not like I'm sure it's better than McDonald's or being a barista at Starbucks. Or
Absolutely.
something like
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
It's a respectable living.
Right. So it sounds like a nice living. Now, how does one get involved in something? Becoming an iron worker.
You could go to your local apprenticeship and training program and sign up for the program there.
Now, and what does that mean? I mean, do there are tests? I mean, is it like going to school? I got to take an entrance exam or have grades or scores?
All of those things.
Really?
An apprenticeship program, and all of our apprenticeship programs are registered with the Department of Labor. They're bona fide apprenticeship programs. They're not shams. Our apprenticeship programs vary from 3 to 4 year programs, and a young man or a young woman would come in and fill out an application.
Right.
And some places have entrance exams.
I see.
Some don't. Some are just placed on a list to be called in the order that they applied.
Wow.
They would start school, and it's an earn while you learn. It's a formal apprenticeship, which means the students or the young iron workers to be would go to school either, depending on the location, how it's set up in that city, would go to school of an evening or on the weekend or for 1 week, and then the rest of that time that they spend in that program, the 3 or 4 years, is spent working on the job with skilled iron workers and applying the knowledge and skills that they learn in class.
So you're saying school could only be a week long, and then they're really on the job working.
Absolutely, and I don't mean a week long for the entire 3 or 4 years. It would be a week for, say, a quarter, or 2 weeks every 6 months. They would come in and take the tests and get the knowledge and skill assessments done at the school, and then go out and apply the things that they had learned.
And so that's really like a paying job, the apprenticeship program.
Absolutely.
So you're paid to learn the skill, and it takes a few years to become like a certified
journeyman iron worker.
Journeyman
Correct.
iron worker. And then at that time, you go anywhere with that skill. Kind of
Absolutely.
thing.
You can work anywhere in the U.S. and even parts of Canada are
really?
being
Wow.
opened up as we speak.
And so this is a national certification?
It would be international.
International, I
Yes.
see. So if you get into an apprentice program, so in other words, a young person coming out of school or coming back from the military or something and looking for a career, instead of going to the junior college, this could be an option to learn a skill and a trade.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely, and you could earn while you're learning instead of a very good thing
right.
that you brought up was a junior college.
Right.
A person could go to college and incur a lot of debt
Right.
while they're at college, and then get out with maybe no prospect of a job. An apprenticeship program is just the
You
opposite.
got a job.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's funny. I mean, maybe I'm just a yuppie here in Washington and not tuned into these kinds of things. I've always heard about apprenticeship programs and everything, but now, because people get out of college and having no place to go,
Yes.
that apprenticeship sounds like an interesting alternative for people.
It is. It's a great alternative,
Yeah.
and it's one of the best kept secrets out there, I think. Now, does that mean that there's always work for everybody that wants it? Absolutely not. The construction industry has its ups and downs like any other, and we have places in the country right now that are bearing burdens of high unemployment.
Right.
And consequently, our apprenticeship programs have slowed entry because of that.
Right.
But it's always an option, and it's a not very often thought of option outside of the construction industry.
So if you were checking out the local ironworkers apprentice program, and they said, well, things are slow, it's not a good time. So it behooves you, if you're really interested, to come back later and keep checking, I would assume. That
Absolutely.
The market changes, as you say, for
does.
something like this. And is it a long career in ironworker? I mean, is it like FBI where they make you retire at 55 because you're doing dangerous work or something like that? Or as a 66 or 7, something like that old guy, I've seen that's the kind of questions I'm interested in.
Ironworking can be a career that will last your entire life. We have members that have been ironworkers for 50, 60, 70 years even.
So you can work in your 60s or 70s and still work.
And actually, an individual that's looking for this training in particular should contact their workforce investment board locally, because we were required to partner with those local entities as well to try and bring in as many people and retrain people as possible.
And that's the one-stop centers and local investment boards, and they're all over. And we'll put on the page with you that how to find your local one board. And is there a information clearinghouse for you guys too to find out the local chapter or local affiliate? You must have. There's something. No, maybe so. Well, on your website for the.
There may very well be on the website. I haven't specifically looked for that information, but it's possible.
You don't need a job.
Ironworkers.org.
Right. Ironworkers.org.
Yes.
Okay, I'll put that in. Well, that's wonderful. So you're training into the green economy too, and you see steel workers are really the wind turbines.
Ironworkers.
Ironworkers too. What is the difference between iron and steel?
Actually, iron is used to make steel.
I see.
Iron is one of the components of steel, but we are iron workers because we predate the use of steel in erecting structures. The first bridges were iron or cast iron.
So now they're steel.
And now they're steel, but we are iron workers,
so any form of iron.
Any form.
Whether it's steel or anything
even
else.
Glass, as you mentioned earlier.
Right. Even glass. Well, this is great. Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
What a great opportunity.